Hey everybody, it's good to see you back again. So the belly pan build continues, and good news, I've got it mocked up underneath the tractor. We're by no means permanent yet, but it is centered, it is leveled, and just having a look at it from out here, I'm liking it, not gonna lie. So I got it positioned well enough to throw a couple of bolts in that bell housing bracket, so we have a repeatable install in case we need to take it out and change anything, put it back in again. And we've got all of the side cutouts done. We have that one on that side for the mainspring, corresponding relief on the other side. We're fresh off of behind the scenes episode number 79 where we did all of that. Have a bit of a look under the back end. We replicated all the contours on the back where we dive down and create a little bit of clearance for where that pivot shaft goes across in there. We don't have any of the holes drilled for the rear mounting yet, but we're this far anyhow. So the next order of business is to get both of the front mounting brackets made and in place so that we can utilize those attachment points on the radiator support. I've got basically the rough blanks cut out. They're out here. Kind of going off of these as a pattern. They're made of 3/8 thick steel. We got a lot of that stuff done last night. I got the rough shapes cut out this morning. So we'll just throw this in, line it up with all the edges, clamp it in place. Do the same for the other side. The oil cooler lines kind of block us out from seeing a whole lot over here, so I know the vantage point's not the best, but I want to mock both of these in just to check shape and angle and everything else. And yes, so far, liking all of that. Both sides fitting very, very well, just like they should. All right. So the next thing I need to do is transfer this bolt pattern onto this bracket. All right. Show you a trick I use for that. Take a piece of gasket material. I'll just set on that pad and take a ball peen hammer and just tap out the perimeter as well as all four of the bolt holes, and then punch them out, cut it out, and label it. This is left hand side. This is the outward facing side. You don't want to get that backwards. So this is our perfect pattern, our perfect template. Those bolt holes. We can now, making sure we have the bracket correctly oriented, all right, throw that on behind it. Because the bracket fits the contour edges of that mounting pad so perfectly, just line that edge up, those corners right there. That's where all your holes need to be, just like that. Pretty simple. And now we check the hole pattern. Looking good. So a brief rundown of what I just did. We've got some temporary bolts, both clamping and holding the bracket in alignment. The brackets are clamped to the belly pan. All the jacks are out. Verified that we're still level and square, and it's still in a good spot. I also threw just a small piece of light cardboard paper between each bracket and the radiator support. Did all the same things on this side as well. What that does, it gives you a little bit of breathing room, because as I weld this, things are undoubtedly going to move. So I don't want to start off just with those brackets up tight against each side of that support. I want a little bit of standoff there in case something moves. Perhaps maybe we won't be too tight after that. And any little bit that this cardboard is holding the bracket out, that'll easily flex back in tight once all four of the bolts are tightened in anyway. So we're going to break cardinal rule. We're going to weld inside the shop, just enough to tack those brackets to the pan. Okay, it's holding itself in position. We're tacked. There's no clamps, there's no jacks, there's no nothing, and I really hope we can maintain this position after all the welding. We're going to be throwing a lot of heat into a small area, and I expect this front end to actually probably curl up just a tad from all that heat that's going to be placed on the inside, just in there. That's all right. That's why we have not finished the final contour on either of these corners yet, and we have plenty of excess curl at the front, so if this dives up at all, we can always take just a little bit of that off to make clearance again if we have to. Hoping we don't. Well, we'll see. So let's get this out of here. All right, before we can do any more welding on the front brackets, we need to get both of these cross brace pieces put in that back up the mounting for that front tow hook. So we're just going to replicate everything that's here exactly. So the first piece is 2" by 1.5" angle. That just sets in right against the front of each front bracket. And then the second piece is 1/4 inch thick by 2" wide flat strap. We'll measure it out and get it clamped in proper position, but those two pieces need to get tacked in place. And it's a few minutes later, of course, but I decided to throw some threaded rod between the brackets. We have nuts on each side on all of them. That's just going to give me a little extra support if things want to start pulling around and moving. So yeah, this is damage control, kind of a preemptive strike. So everything else is tacked in place. I know exactly where we're going to stitch and weld. I'm just going to replicate everything that they did on the original one, even right down to weld placement, all of that. And I'm just going to be moving all over the place. I'm going to hop around and weld in one spot a little bit, weld in another spot a little bit. We'll try and counteract welds. Just heat management. Don't put any or too much heat in any one spot at any given time, and hopefully we don't pull it too far out of shape. So just see what happens. Okay, the welding's all done, and like I said before, I just stitched everything in exactly where they did on the original, and then we laid a good heavy bead around the brackets. Got good undercut going on. We were plenty hot all the way around. So, well, I know these came in just a little bit, probably a 1/16 of an inch, maybe like the difference that thin cardboard that I'd put in there comprised. Should have just doubled up, but yeah, we have 18 3/4 mounting pad to mounting pad on the radiator support, and we show 18 3/4 inside to inside right now, so it might be a little bit tight. We'll just have to see, but overall happy with the way it turned out. And yeah, seeing these side by side, you can really tell how the old beer can pan just has been laid right down. They done broke its back. Now we see if it's still going to fit. Actually, it's not looking too bad. It's just about perfect, really. It's not loose, but it's not binding at all. I don't know, everybody. This is going way too good. Look at that. Nothing's even bound. Everything's aligned. It's hanging in place. Let's take the jack out of there. I don't think we even moved. I don't think this even moved. It still fits. We didn't get too tight there. Cross brace just clears the bottom of the radiator support, which I knew it was going to be tight anyway, but yeah, nothing's tight up against anything. I think we did it. I think we did it. That makes me really happy. I don't have to trim anything else off of here. Yeah, look at that. I like how they look with the pans on them. Get my finger out of the frame. Ignore the mosquitoes too. It's spring, but yeah, we're fitting just excellent all around. Still looking good everywhere under here. Yep. That's why I say I much prefer to be lucky than good. Because when you're lucky, it just happens. When you're good, you have to try. So, take luck any day. Happy with it. So, there's only one final bit of trimming to do, and that is to flatten out that transition line there and the one on the other side. At this point, we're just going to level those out with the floor now that we know where everything is positioned, and no big deal there. So, tomorrow, we'll start drilling holes in the bottom of this thing for all the drain plug holes and those relief slots for beneath the equalizer spring, and for this beautiful piece of Caterpillar jewelry right here. That is the right, correct, and proper front tow hook. And it will go on round about there. It's not exactly light, but I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I think the worst of it's behind us. We just need to drill a bunch of holes in the right spots. Don't mess it up now, and we'll have it. So I'm just going to cut it right here. It might not be as long as the last one was, but I'm in a good mood, and I want to keep it that way. Tune in again, everybody.